Hey everyone, Sean here and welcome to this video. I really wanted to sit down and talk about this particular topic, which could be either very trivial or something for you guys to take away from. But either way, I wanted to make this video for fun for a while, but I actually got sick a couple weeks ago, so I do feel better now, so we can definitely get down to it. So we're going to be talking about two products or two pieces of hardware that has been very, very awesome to use for washing the car or detailing. And one of them is indeed specifically this portable pressure washer, cordless pressure washer, what do you want to call it? But more specifically, the Fantic Flip right here. I've used it a couple of times, pretty cool. And then right below that, right here, this green thing, the detail keg. Very, very lovely thing, but it does have its caveats. And when I was using the Flip right here, a light bulb kind of went off in my head. I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't this basically an alternative to the detail keg? I mean, it sprays quite well. And, you know, this is probably something that could make these detail kegs obsolete, right? Eventually, obviously, yes, but right now, or as of this sort of time window, I don't know. That's why I wanted to kind of weigh out the points and really see if the detail keg is something very gimmicky or obsolete or whatever you want to call it. So let's break it down with this whiteboard right here. And I even bought these markers really for this video, so it's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool because I actually wanted to be a teacher at one point, but that was like when I was really young. As I grew up, things changed, and it looks like I unfortunately made the right choice because of how the education kind of works in the US. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go ahead and call this basically in black. The Flip versus the keg, right? And of course I have my notes right here, so I'll definitely be able to make things a lot smoother. So yep, let's go over each point for the Flip first, and we're gonna go on to the points for the keg and help sort of weigh out the options whether the keg or the Flip are better one over the other. Let's go with the Flip first. Let's take it to the flip side of things. So on the flip side of things, no pun intended, I guess, is with this first point being higher pressured. The pressure for the Flip is actually greater, right? The Flip has, I'm just going to call this F, has a maximum of 176 psi on max setting, of course. The keg right here, write that as K. Actually, let's use that. So we're going to go back and forth with multiple colors here. So I initially wanted to write out the keg in blue, or green, excuse me, but in blue will show up, I think, better. So I don't want to take any chances. So the keg, let's just call it 100 or 90 to 100 psi, because that's the ideal psi for the keg itself anyway. And who knows how much it comes out with your sprayer. It could be very, very variable. So let's just kind of crapshoot it and call it that. Either way, the Fantic Flip right here has greater pressure anyway. So that's pretty much the gist of that for that point. So obviously the Flip definitely has 1 point over that. All right, let's go back to black. The next point right here. And the next point right here is obviously the capacity. All right. The flip here has infinite capacity, meaning you could pretty much siphon from any body of water or liquid. You can siphon from a container of sorts, any container you want. So the capacity is limitless and only bound to your imagination. That's pretty much that. I mean, you can pretty much even siphon from the keg itself when you have the cap open, right? So that's kind of ironic there, in a sense. Actually, that's a kind of a good idea in a way. But anyway, so it does have a point there in a sense. Whereas the keg, all right, let's go back to blue right here and write out the keg, and it's pretty much 5 gallons in my case. But obviously it comes with, different sizes and capacities and stuff like that, like a 3.5 or 2.5 gallon or 2 gallon, maybe a gallon somewhere on the website. But you get the point. They do come with different sizes, but that really depends on what you really want. But although in my case, when it comes to kegs, 5 gallons is all you really need for most cars anyway. Maybe for like a large vehicle, then you probably want like maybe like a 10 gallon or something. But you definitely have to get a little creative there. But in any case, the Fantic does win that part of the category as well. At least for most cars anyway. Up next, we have another point for the flip right here, and that is the fact that it is all in one. Okay, so when you buy the flip specifically, it does come with everything that you need. It comes with the unit itself, the hose, it comes with a carrying bag, maybe like spraying tips or something, depending on what it is, a charging cable, everything you need, point being. And you can use it on the go, all that stuff, right then and there without a little difficulty. And then, you likely should have some sort of bucket or container on you, so that's also what it can come with as well, I guess, in a sense. The flip though doesn't come with a bucket, but then again, again, that's what you should have in the first place. All right, so unlike the keg though, you kind of need several pieces before you get yourself going. But that's pretty much that, I guess. Next point, we do have the portability, right? Obviously, portable for the flip. So just like the name implies, I guess, obviously, the portability, it really nails it in that category very well, especially the flip right here. Look how small this thing is, and especially once you go ahead and fold it, it becomes even more portable. You put it in your bag, carry it around, put it in your car with a little issue and little space. In comparison to a keg, what regular person will actually carry on a keg and wash their car like that? I mean, if you're obviously running a business, then it makes a little more sense, but it's still the fact that you need a van to make it a little more valid kind of speaks the capacity or the size, right? And especially once you get different sizes right, that really defeats the purpose. But even when you get let's say a 2.5 gallon keg, you still need to carry around a compressor, right? And I mean, you could argue about that you can get away with using a high-grade air pump like a Ryobi tire inflator or any of those sort of inflators. If you're gonna if you use one of those like those cheap Amazon tire inflators, those things are gonna burn out real fast because it's a lot harder to pump up a keg than it is to pump up other such things. Whereas these cordless pressure washers, you don't really need to pump anything. It just siphons and uses the motor to suck up the liquid and spray it out onto your car. So that definitely wins it there in that sense. Unless it really depends on who you are, but which that will come into play later on. Anyway, so the fact is though, the portability, for the most part, the Flip has that, or the portable pressure washer, right? That's like the name implies, right? Does that pretty well. In a lot of cases, right, these are more accessible, because it's all in one, it's portable, it's definitely therefore accessible. So basically, you could merge these points into one, but they both have their separate sort of things that separate each other, right? Accessible meaning, you don't really need anything else. Like I said, like the keg needs a compressor, and you need to get that going to pump up the with the compressor and stuff like that, or inflator if you really want to take that route. It'll take a long time with the inflator, but with the compressor, not so much. It'll take you like maybe max 2 minutes or something. Pretty nice. But the fact of the matter is that the cordless pressure washer will get you there a lot faster, right? So that's pretty much the strong points when it comes to the Flip, although I am missing one more. So the last point right here, hope you guys can see that, is the fact that it is cheaper. It's hard to write sideways, forgive me, but cheaper is a big one for a lot of people, right? The Flip is about 80 bucks. I'm not gonna write it out anymore because it's kind of pointless at this point. The Flip, yeah, everything that comes with it is about more or less 80 bucks grand total. And whereas the keg, that could really vary, right? Most of the times, you definitely want to get yourself a keg refurbished. That could be also various, right, on the pricing. I got my keg for about 60 bucks, more or less. Even with shipping, it wasn't too bad. You really have to do your research when it comes to kegs. Make sure you get the best price and all that fun stuff. Of course, the compressor also, you want to get a good one. To me, that cost me about 200 bucks, especially if you get yourself one of those like super quiet compressors, which is very nice. Yeah, it definitely costs about, over 200 bucks if you really are starting out with the keg. If you already have a air compressor though, that obviously does cut out the cost in a sense, but the fact that you need a air compressor, you pretty much have to put that together. So technically the price is a lot more expensive, right? So because not everyone has an air compressor when they're starting off. From a beginner's perspective, it is a lot more expensive. If you're already a veteran, then not as much, unlikely, right? So, but for most cases, the Flip is a lot cheaper. Again, it's a very strong point for these portable pressure washers. So that's all the points. That's quite a lot. It looks like there's a lot, and it looks like the Flip is winning in this little contest here, quote unquote, right? And you could say that the Flip is a great alternative to the keg. Or is it? Let's talk about the keg. So let's go ahead and write it out in blue, just to help make it a little clearer, I guess. And the first point, and the very, very important point, is that it lasts longer. Inconsistent on my capitalization, I'm sorry. But anyway, very important point for the keg. They last very long because they comprise of very few parts. It's basically a stainless steel tank with a couple of rubber seals. That's all there is to it. Now, of course, it comes. You gotta count the hose, the little connectors for the hose, right? Because the flare threading and all that fun stuff. But the main body and the main thing in question is very long lasting. And the quick connectors and all that stuff, the connections are all metal anyway, so they should be long lasting as well. As long as you use your noodle, you can make this last for a very long time. The main thing you got to do is to just replace those rubber seals, the O-rings, all that stuff. Keep it clean, common sense stuff. Not very hard either. If you put a little bit of your mind to it, not that serious, not that tough. Once you get over the cost barrier, it's almost like you invest into something and you get a lot in return, right? 1-to-1, right? So that's pretty much kind of how it works in life, right? When you put something, you get it's the whole like one action equal opposite reaction, right? In this case here, when you put enough money into it, you get a good return, right? Depending on that, of course, depends on what product, right? But in the keg right here, you're guaranteed to get your return, in a way, because it lasts longer, and the performance is adequate. It holds enough liquid, the pressure is enough, especially depending on what kind of spray head you use, and all that fun stuff. Which goes to the next point right here, and that is the fact that it's also customizable. Customizable, also a good point, because you can basically replace all these parts, right? You can replace the hose, you replace the O-rings, you replace the spray head. You can even like change up your keg by changing up the spray head, right? It really changes things up for the better. And you have that control as long as you use your noodle, right? It's very, very personalized for you, And this is a little extra point, kind of trivial, but basically, I wrote out in my notes saying, you never know what you get. That extra point allows you to have a nice conversation piece, and especially when you get these kegs refurbished, you don't know where they come from and stuff like that. As long as you get it from a reputable store, you should be able to get yourself a good working refurbished tank or keg. And mine came from 7-Up, so it's like a really cool thing, and especially the fact that it's the retro 7-Up logo on here. It's actually really sick, unlike something like the Fantic Flip. Not much of a story there, but when it comes to the 7-Up, it's a little funny, right? At least in my eyes anyway. But anyway, a little trivial, but whatever. But yes, back to the point. Customizable. You can definitely replace all the parts. You can use whatever part you want as long as you do your research and it fits, right? As long as it fits, it works. This is the spray head that I've been using, right? Not the T-Jet whatever spray wand thing. It's basically just a regular pistol grip garden hose sprayer plus a special tip that's for misting, along with a connector just to kind of extend it out a little bit, but it all works, and the result is fantastic. It mists very well, especially with rinses wash, and it really performs very well with it. It just very much synchronizes together very, very well. This is what we got right here when it comes to the flip versus the keg right here, right? you kind of notice, right? The flip has a lot of points right here, a lot of appeal to it, right? But when it comes to the keg, few but quality points, right? Quality over quantity in this case, like you could say. But the other point I wanted to make right here is that while is the flip a good alternative to the keg? And that answer comes various, let's just say. It really depends on who you are. And you could say that, well, in a way, the real winner is you, right? As long as you use your noodle, you weigh out your options, what kind of situation are you in, and you get yourself the right product, you can wash your car with flying colors and you're having fun doing so, right? So you are the winner. But that's only if you use your common sense. So you have to kind of like know which one to get as long when you weigh out these little points right here, right? In my opinion, the flip is more suitable for people who live in apartments, don't have running water, stuff like that. I mean, the running water thing could apply to here too, but especially because you need to have like a big, nice, strong compressor, which basically to me is something that has a tank and a motor on top, because the tank is where the compression happens. When it comes to those like tire inflators, they always like market them as like, oh, portable air compressor, blah blah blah. I mean, I don't know. It's I don't really consider it as an efficient compressor because technically it is compressing the air into a tire, and then the tire compressor is a compressor. I don't know. I just call it an air pump. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's air, pumping air into something. So when it comes to those things, those tire inflators and stuff like that, I call them air pumps. So if you want to take the air pumps or tire inflators to get your kegs to going, you can, but it takes a long time and you'll burn out those motors real fast. Maybe unless you get like the Ryobi or something like that, those power tool grade ones, sure, but you're better off with the air compressor, and therefore kegs are for people who live in houses, in garages, and obviously you're kind of more of like a veteran, whereas the cordless pressure washer is perfect for beginners. When you're starting out, when you want to kind of make your first upgrade, stuff like that, it's pretty nice. But the kegs, you have an air compressor because you want to use the air compressor for like your interior stuff. You want to blast air and whatever. If you happen to have like air compressor already, then you're that much closer to being able to own a keg and actually use it. So that's, I guess, a point there. But yeah, the point being is that it really depends on where you live or what your situation is, depending on who you are, depending on each person. What you need, what do you need, what do you want, what do you have? Those questions are pretty important before buying these either products right here. So there is an answer, right? But it just depends on who you are. So with that, that's kind of like the topic for this video, right? That's pretty much it for the video. Is the flip a good alternative to the keg? Well, I want to see those comments in the comment section below. Do you think for your guys' situations, having a cordless pressure washer is a better option for you, or a keg? Or you can always own both for the fun of it, but someone like me, but I mean, it's kind of fun to like kind of think about these things in a trivial sense, and these types of videos tend to be like kind of I don't know, just for the fun of it, right? There's no science behind it really. It's all from the heart, you know, that type of stuff. I just kind of wanted to talk about it, so because it really kind of the light bulb kind of went off in my head. Like, is it is this really a good alternative to the keg? And you know what? For some people, it is, but again, it really depends on who you are. Comments in the comment section below, love to read them. You know, do you love owning a keg? Do you love owning a cordless pressure washer, stuff like that? Don't forget to let the thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. I actually really like using a whiteboard, so maybe I'll incorporate that a little more in these types of discussion videos in the future. I don't know. What do you guys think? So anyways, that's all I got. Cordless pressure washer, the Frantic Flip versus the Detail keg. Personally, I love them both. But you know, if I were to have to pick one, ooh, that's tough, right? They're both pretty nice, but maybe at the end of the day, I'll probably go with the cordless pressure washer because, you know, it's like more of a all-in-one unit. It's not like I need it for business or anything like that. So one use is all I'm going to need anyway, or two, but one. And you know, I don't really need to have an air compressor and stuff like that, but I just happen to have one. That's why I got the keg also, and it's pretty nice. I gotta admit, having a detail keg is also very nice. So that's all I got. Thank you very much, and thank you for tuning in for this video. I hope you guys take something away from this. This could be all trivial and pointless, but whatever. That's what YouTube is kind of anyway. We're all here for the fun of it. We should be here for the fun, right? Come on, guys. Anyways, thank you very much, and hope to see you all in next video. Sean out. You know, I kind of felt like being a teacher with this whiteboard right here. It was just, I don't know. I was able to live my dream for a little moment.